Oh, my camera went fuzzy all of a sudden. Anyway, kind of sums how I feel. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company. I got my new patch of the month, Jim. And it's right here. Mine's out of the plastic because you're a slacker. Slacker. And you know why you're a super slacker? Because I literally just opened this right before we went live, and you were watching, and you didn't even get yours out of the plastic yet.
Yeah, but listen, let me do this. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God such men lived. General George S. Patton.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Let me have that one.
You bet. So,
M1 carbine on the cover, on the American flag. New brain bonnet, old brain bonnet, poppies, and of course the M4, the ubiquitous M4.
Which is going to be replaced?
Probably by a new caliber, no less.
Yeah.
oh, have they finally made a decision?
No.
Okay. So what's everybody been up to?
Not much
Well,
over here.
I've been considering where to take and put this bore scope in. It's a caliber specific bore scope.
Bore scope or laser?
Laser.
Bore laser.
Bore laser, okay.
Laser sighting device. It's caliber specific. I got 4 firearms in the same caliber. And it's like, actually, I got 5.
Well, then you can use it in all 5.
You bet.
So there you go.
Well, that's my quandary. I don't know which one to go first.
Well, start with one and get her done.
Pack them all up into the truck, take them down to the range, and go from there.
Is it
Mr.
red?
Nelson, what do you mean? No, it's green.
Okay. Well, then pack them all up and go to the range.
Yeah.
Chop, chop. What the hell's your problem?
Yeah.
Mr. Nelson, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how that works.
Mr. Iceland, that's how that works. Just pack them up in the truck and put them in. Okay.
You take all
Take
5
them out
of
to
them.
the Stan Gun Club and
Holy
target
crap.
up
Amazingly enough, Jim, you can take more than one gun to the range.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Well, most I've ever done was 2. That was one was on my hip. This is the original drawing that Ryan Cross created for this particular patch of the month, guys. No, it's a copy, but still, it's very, very, very nice. It's pen and ink, pencil and ink, or pen line drawing.
Yep. As a matter of fact, Jim, I was out at the range on Thursday, and I took 5 guns.
Wow.
I'll have to follow your example someday.
I took my 22 pistol, which I was happily, I had fun. The nice thing about our range at Waterloo Gun Club is at the 25 and the 50 yard underneath the target stands, they've got steel gongs. At the 25, it's a 2-inch, and at the 50, it's a 4-inch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't shoot the pistol much because I was playing around with other stuff. But I rapid fired through a mag, and that thing shoots about 2 inches high at 25 yards, I figured. Just kind of off-sighting. And so I popped off 10 rounds, kind of rapid fire, and pinged steel 5 out of 10 rounds at 25 yards. So that was kind of nice.
Yep.
Fixed sight?
Huh?
Fixed sight?
It's adjustable. It's a nice 3-dot fiber. Target sights.
Bring your screwdriver next time. Give it a.
I had a screwdriver in the bag. Had a screwdriver in the bag. Didn't care.
Oh, okay.
So the main purpose for this trip was I dragged out the Magneto Speed and the Lab Radar.
Ah,
I found out that the Lab Radar does not like wind at all.
mm,
Would not recognize any shots. So that wasn't fun. Getting a Magneto Speed on a lever gun is kind of interesting, but I finally did get it to actually stay. So it took some finagling and everything. Obviously, you can't put it in the normal position at the 6 o'clock position because it's way too far away from the barrel to pick up.
right.
And you can't put it in the 12 o'clock position because how are you going to see?
So
you
you're
had
gonna
to put
end
it
up
in
putting
3
it
or
on the
9.
side, huh?
Yeah. I tried about a 2 o'clock position and I couldn't get it to stay. So I finally, well, probably about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Not quite full 3 o'clock, but I got it to actually stay stable. And got a couple of shots off. My goal, because when I got the gun from my when my dad passed, it was my grandpa's, and so he had 2 boxes of these Sears Roebuck and Company
Oh my
30
God.
30 170 grain soft points. And so I was gonna shoot them up because that's half the fun is emptying brass. So non-mercuric, non-corrosive primer, smokeless powder. These cartridges are loaded to use high-quality materials and precise methods to give accurate, dependable performance. Non-corrosive primers will not cause barrel rust. Sold by Sears Roebuck and Company, Chicago, Illinois, made in USA. My guess, it's probably Olin, but I don't know for sure.
Mike, bring your head stamp up to the screen, please. I'll put you on solo layout.
Oh no, it's FC.
Federal cartridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even bother looking at the head stamp before. It's FC. So, but so my brother had a bunch of his. I took my brother's gun out and my grandpa's, so it was lever gun fun. I gotta quit having people die in my family. I've got my brother's gun, my uncle's gun, my dad's gun, my grandpa's gun. Crikey! All right, that's enough.
The boys are going to start inheriting soon.
Yeah. So, but I had my brother had some Corlocks that he still had on the stock in one of these nice little Allen. Oh, this isn't even Allen. This is generic field line from Walmart, but one of these little cartridge holders. So we shot a couple of those. I was just checking to see if I could get the Lab Radar to read, which I couldn't. So then I started firing the Sears, and the first shot was fine. This was the first piece of brass. So as you can see, no problems. And then this was the second piece. Ooh, what that?
Oh, yeah, groove in there.
Yeah, that's a huge case split.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I thought my pine trees were done with all of their funness, and so I mowed them on Sunday. They weren't.
All the yellow flower dust came down.
Oh yeah, looked like a
Yeah.
freaking cloud. So there's still 18 rounds in here. With my luck lately, I made the wise decision to stop shooting them. Because no, not with my luck lately. My luck hasn't been the best, and I didn't want to blow up a gun. So,
You might not have blown the gun up, but you'd sure ruin the chamber.
Right. And definitely there's other places that if the brass is weak, it could have split. So
Right.
one is completely unfired yet. I've still got a full case, so I'm going to keep that as a collector's thing. This one I am probably going to pop the primers, and then flatten. So,
Good idea.
just not worth it. So,
Question for you.
yeah.
When you had the Magneto, did any velocity at all readings?
Yeah, the 2 shots I put over it.
Mhm.
Yeah. What was it? 30? No, it was 20 something or other.
I was gonna say that 30-30 reliever gun ain't hitting $3,000. No, Mike. No, don't say that, please. You'll lose all credibility.
I don't know if it'll bring it back up or not. So, I wasn't really interested in results at that point in time, because the idea behind bringing it out was to compare it to the
Lab radar.
yeah, that's it. But then the lab radar didn't pick anything up because of the intense amount of wind. So
You got to have the microphone for it to work, which we have a lot of wind.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get that. So let's see if it saved it. I'm not sure if it did or not. So
Is that the Sporter or the Standard?
the Sporter.
Mhm.
Yep, it did.
Oh, it did. Okay.
So you got about 27, 26?
25, 24.
Mr. Nelson, be nice.
I am. That's a 170 grain bullet in a 30-30.
I know that.
I got the little adapter to be able to hook it up to your phone, but it just, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't understand it correctly or what, but I don't want that. I want quit being a butthead. $23.97 and $23.33, and that was both the core locks.
Okay.
So
So in other words, even as old as the ammo may have been, the velocity is still right up.
no. Those were the core locks. Those are not the
Oh, your
Sears.
brother's ammo, not your grandpa's ammo.
Right. No, the Sears.
You haven't clocked that yet, correct?
No, I didn't clock it.
Okay.
Because I had 2 guns out there. I had my brother's, which is the Marlin 336, which is what I put this on, and then I had my grandpa's 94. The 94 is what I was shooting when I noticed the split cartridge. So. But
Very nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that was my fun. I actually got out shooting. The nice thing is with 2 of the core locks, I pinged steel open irons on that with that Winchester 94 at 50 yards.
That's minute of whitetail.
And shooting the lever action like it's supposed to be shot. So that would be loading them both through the side and then kink from the shoulder. So I was pretty proud of myself that I can still shoot that well to do that. I didn't have any issues in hitting the target.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, if you hit steel target 50 yards with a handgun, a 22 handgun of yours, you're doing all right.
Oh, I did once, but I aimed and very slow fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I hit. So, I've actually, with my dad's single six, I've actually hit the 10 ring at 100 yards once. But that was also a dead calm day, and so
Nick, you got a question in the peanut gallery.
I have not. I probably won't. There's actually a guy that I've know on YouTube that's actually he did a short last week that he's gonna be doing a full video testing that stuff. So I'm probably just gonna wait and see how his stuff does. And he's actually shooting it out of an M1 Grand, so I'm gonna wait and see how his testing comes back.
Nick's answer is in response to Daniel Anderson's question, asking him if he'd fired the Turkish 30-06.
This stuff here, yes, and it is MKE. So, yeah, so
And that was the second part of the question was it MKE? And Mr. Anderson has some of those ammo, some of that ammo.
hey Nick, you want to chuckle?
what's that?
Had a couple of kids come into the gun library Saturday night, and they were looking for 30-06 ammo, and they want to know if they could use stuff off the shelf for their Garand.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
For a few rounds.
For a few rounds, yeah.
I said, yeah, you'll bend your op rod.
Yeah, very much so.
What's an op rod?
He goes, well, I've heard that, but I didn't think it was true. No, it's true.
Oh, it's true. I've seen a guy do it at the range.
So have I. And I laughed at him because I warned him. I looked at it and I said, you can't fire that ammo out of that gun. He goes, well, it's 30-06. I said, it doesn't say 30-06 Garand, does it? He goes, no. I said, then you can't. Well, why not? Because, and he goes, well, what the hell? Why do they make ammo that you can't fire? I said, because when they made that gun, the 30-06 ammo they were making wasn't, the powder charges weren't as vociferous and powerful as they are now. And so, therefore, it was perfectly fine. But now we've got better powder, better power, better speed, better velocity, better pressure, and you'll break your gun. Well, I don't think you're right. Okay, then. Pop, pop,
Yep.
pop. No
Did he
pop.
break the op rod or bend it?
Bent it.
You just bend it. That's all you do. You don't. I've never seen one break. I've always seen them just bend.
You'd have to have a hell of a hot load, hand load to actually break it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Because let's put it this way: when they bend them, you can actually send them into companies and get them remand. There's a company out there that actually remands them to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you'd be hard pressed to break one.
Did you tell your loser that he could do that?
No.
Good.
Make
He
him
doesn't-
figure out himself.
Yeah, no, that was a couple of years ago. So
That bullheaded and stubborn, he doesn't deserve to have good,
Right.
good Garand.
God, that was shit. That was 10 years ago. So I don't even know. But he probably didn't even have a gun anymore. He's one of those that he'll have a gun for a little while and then he'll sell it.
Jeez.
So
Takes all kinds.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, the kid didn't quite.
Well-
Fine, and he says, "Well, what about these gas port things that you can get, and then you can shoot regular?" I said, "I've never seen any of those actually successfully work, but hey, it's your gun."
Talk about coincidence. On the bottom of the screen.
I agree with Mike. I've seen them out there. I've never seen one truly work correctly.
Mm-mm.
That's
Actually,
why I
I've-
hand load or
I've never
reload
even
for
heard
it.
them fit correctly.
Schuster's, they'll fit.
Yeah, the Schuster's will fit. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like 3 or 4 companies that make one.
And you,
I've never messed with them though. That's why I reload for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just reload a nice light load, just to go put holes of paper with $1,000.
Well, that's the thing is the kid's uncle loads. I said, well, just go talk to him. I guarantee you he'll help you out.
Yeah,
So,
well, like I say, if with a Schuster you can get it to fit, and if you want to take the time to make it work, it will. You screw it all the way in, turn the gas off all the way.
so it's basically like adjusting a gas block on a
Exactly, and then you quarter turn until you start to get it to move. That's
Mhm.
all. So, us old M1A users, we use the one for the M1A because we're shooting heavier bullets than what they were really designed for.
Yeah.
So,
What wasn't the M1A designed for 147 grain?
yeah,
Yeah.
147 grain, and we're shooting 175s. So it works. It keeps the gun sane.
Daniel Anderson, thank you very much. In the chat, in the MeWe chat, he posted a link that Bear Creek Arsenal's given away a 30-06. So, Bear Creek Arsenal's giving their Huntmaster 30-06 right side charging handle. Comes with a BCA rifle scope, Sierra Game Changer 30-06 200 rounds, BCA ammo can, QD mount, a bullet pen, camo field notes, some shooting targets, and a 16-inch gong. So that is in the MeWe chat.
Interesting.
Bear Creek Arsenal's right here in Sanford, North Carolina. About 1,100 yards from where I work.
Sounds like a midnight
No.
run there, Jim.
No. They got guns, Paul. No, I'm too well known for that mess.
And there we
Thank you.
go. Thank you, Daniel. I entered. So.
And Nick is over there trying to see how sharp is.
No, it ain't sharp. It ain't sharp. It's a bayonet. They shouldn't be sharp. They shouldn't be sharp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be sharp. You're not.
No, they're not.
You're stabby.
They're stabby. Yeah, I can do that all day.
Hey, Paul. Daniel also asked a question in the chat. You might know the answer to. Are the budget estate shells from Walmart, are those federal or
federal usually?
Okay.
They have a company make the shells for them, and it's usually federal that makes them.
Okay.
So
there's your answer, Daniel. And the Dodgers are killing the Brewers. Damn it.
Hey, Cardinals are winning. That's all that matters.
You shut up, you and your freaking last place Redbirds.
Hey, it's only May. We're good.
Uh-huh.
That's okay. He lives in Kansas now. He can put his red shoes on and click them 3 times.
I don't even think I have red shoes, so we're good.
Hey, Paul, did you see who got the #1 draft choice for the NHL?
I'm so mad. I'm pissed. I'm like, come on, anybody but them.
No, I have been busy trying to take care of a few things here now that I'm back in my room.
Blackhawks got the #1 pick, so it actually means something this year.
Yeah.
Daniel, I got the Hurricanes game on in the background. I'm rooting for them, but oh my God, I can't believe New Jersey put a snowman up on them Sunday. How often do you see a snowman in hockey? And Jim's just like, shut up and get back to reloading.
Most people don't even know what a snowman in hockey is.
No. So anytime we
what's a
talk about
hockey
a snowman usually is used in baseball scoring and hockey. It's an 8. So you don't see an 8 in hockey very often. Baseball you do nowadays. Now that they've gutted the pitching and juiced the balls and don't care what the batters do, but hockey you don't see 8 goals. Hardly ever. And they put up 8 goals on them. Oh my goodness! If you want an entertaining series to watch with lots of goals, the Devils Hurricanes series. They've pulled the goalie in all of the previous games. One of the team has. So,
Jeez.
yeah, it's been bad. So, I don't know. My pick is still Vegas for the Cup. So. Panthers, oh my goodness. They're up 3-0 on the Leafs. Wow. After they're the 8th seed, so they're like just barely squeaked in. Let's put it this way. If Pittsburgh wouldn't have lost on the last day, they wouldn't have made it. They beat the number 1 seed. So, anyway. Oh, damn it. Now we can both hate running with scissors.
I'm going to put a star on his comment.
Why? Are you a Buccos fan?
Hell yes. And I could care less who wins.
So you're probably Mazeroski and Stargell and
yes,
Pops.
Billy Stargell.
We are family.
Bill Mazeroski. Oh my God, it's a name I haven't heard in decades.
And back in the early '90s when Barry Bonds wasn't on drugs.
Yeah.
And his head was normal sized. That was a hell of an outfield, though. Bondsman and Van Slyke. Man, that was a good team. Okay. Anyway, we could go on about sports forever, but let's get back to...
This is a relating podcast, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
That'd be
I
good.
love talking sports, too, but there's no way I could do a sports podcast. So, anyway. Hello, Jonathan. So, Daniel. So anyway, now back to my split case. I looked at it beforehand and I didn't see anything.
Wouldn't.
So, I mean, is there? I didn't really notice anything. Is there anything that you could use to tell before you?
No.
Okay. That was kind of the point of showing those cases off is,
Unless you're God.
Yeah.
But the only way.
How are they stored? Okay.
That's the only question. I mean, theoretically, I know my uncle stored stuff well. So when he got the gun from my grandpa, I know he stored it well. I know it was stored up at the cottage for probably the last 30 years at least. So I know it was stored well for the last 30 years.
Question.
Yeah.
I remember I have no idea what your cottage is like. Is it a rough camp or is it heated? Is it climate controlled?
Climate controlled.
Okay, thank you.
So
there's no way to inspect the rest of those. Get your magnifying glass out and inspect those next one of those other cases, Mike. That's just a factory defect is all that is.
I'm just going to pull them. Be on the safe side.
That would be the safer way.
Paul's still taking shots at Jason.
Yeah.
Trumbo, you missed one, buddy. I know you listen to the podcast. So sometimes we can tell when this head 70 chamber says 30-06. Trumbo, you know anything about that, bud? You get Paul, a big old blue star. That would be Paul Loud, not Nelson.
I just took a screenshot and texted him. Said Paul Loud says hi.
Jason will get a chuckle out of that. Probably F
yeah.
you, Paul.
So Jason is back to working full time to pay for all that fun stuff that he's been doing. So that's why he hasn't been joining us. So
Can't blame the guy.
no,
Thought he moved there to retire.
that's why Jim moved to North Carolina too. See how well that's
Yeah.
working out for him. See, the problem is neither of them were really retired before they moved. I mean, not like you that retired a couple of years in advance before you
Yeah.
moved. So,
Yeah, it's been
Staying at home can be
13.
very, 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 very expensive.
if you only had a place to go and hide,
The
Oh,
range.
the reloading room, but you don't because it's full of shit.
Exactly. Full of stuff. Pull that one, Chris. Full of stuff. Anyway, Loud's at it again.
Yeah, that will test your case strength. Better one is to take and put a 41 and a 44 Magnum and pull the trigger on that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you'd notice that because it'd rattle around.
You knocked the it was in a Ruger and you knocked the case out and I looked and I'm looking at all the cracks through it and everything else and I'm sitting there you going, Nick, are you sure this is 44 Magnum? He goes, oh yeah, the box is marked 44 Magnum. Okay. Didn't look at the head stamp.
Oops.
Let another one go. Nah, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Look at the head stamp. Okay. Yeah.
Well, there's your problem right there.
That one didn't get used again that weekend. So
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, probably didn't hurt the Ruger gun, but it's not a good idea to make it a habit.
No.
no pressure. Other
Exactly.
Right.
than blowing the case apart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Surprised you didn't get a barrel obstruction.
No, just rattled down the barrel.
Yeah, I suppose. It's small enough. So.
Hey Jim, you were asking about bore condition earlier on that rifle.
Yeah.
I threw a couple photos in our Facebook chat.
Okay.
So if you want to take a look, it's pretty good. It needs cleaning, but it's pretty good.
Well, the thing is, rifles like that you just bought, when they go overseas, sometimes the education level of the common foot soldier isn't as high as it should be, and they just don't understand the importance of cleaning a gun.
Yeah.
Until they get in a fight, the gun jams because it's dirty.
Yeah. So the cool story about these is the conflict didn't last crazy long. So who knows if this rifle even saw combat in the thing? Okay, that was like right outside the house lighting.
Excuse me.
But who knows if it even saw combat? It might have gotten over to Brazil and then sat in a factory or a storage.
Yep.
Its whole life. So, and then maybe shot when it got here stateside after being imported. So,
Yeah,
Gee, Nick, if you only had a fancy bore camera to.
I do, but it's in storage. I don't have room for everything in this house yet. When they get a house,
There you go.
I thought I was going to look at the right house tonight, but
That's
it went pending.
So what else you been doing, Nick?
I had a good weekend. I'll show off part of it. Being I can't show the whole gun, but picked up this over the weekend. So of course the bolt's somewhere else, but it's a Czech VZ24 that was sent to the Brazilians. They had a kind of like a border conflict with a couple states in I think the 20s. So those got sent there. Kind of a cool rifle. Originally VZ24s were an 8. millimeter. This is actually in 7 millimeter. Been debating on that for a while here locally. Also went to a Militaria show over the weekend and picked up some cool things. Picked up this. It's a World War One.
Hold still, Nick. Hold still.
It's a World War One recruiting book. So I gotta be very careful because, of course, it's pretty frail. And
tell you what, those gentlemen in that illustration look pretty damn sharp.
Oh, absolutely. This is dated 1913 on the inside.
My God, that's 110 years old, Nick.
Absolutely, and it's in really good condition for the age.
May I make a suggestion?
It's gonna get put in a wrap, and I have a cellophane.
Don't handle it again. Put it.
I'm not.
Only handle it with cotton gloves on.
So yeah, that's cool, and it's got some tied back to Illinois. It's from Cairo, Illinois, which I know Paul and I know the history of Cairo. If you don't know any of the history, look it up. It's a very interesting town.
Used to be.
It used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever called it this, Paul. We always called it the armpit of the state, besides Chicago. It's the other armpit, but
yeah.
And then I also picked up another book. I have a.
So I thought Cairo was the armpit and Chicago was the butthole.
It could be.
You're right.
I have this here. I'll throw it in. So, but I also picked up this, which is I already have one, but the cool part about this one is it's named to a second lieutenant from the Signal Corps from Philo, Illinois, which is only about an hour and a half from my hometown. So, from 1942. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Pick that up, and then you saw me playing with it earlier. A Gewehr 98 bayonet.
Pig sticker.
This one's actually cool. It's the manufacturer is not a very common one. It's one of the less common manufacturers. It's 1918 production. Paid only $40. This is about a $150 bayonet. So
Nick, were you serious when you said you don't sharpen the blade on those things?
They're not supposed to be. Not at all. If it's a sharpened one, it's been sharpened after military service or by the soldier. Also got a couple helmets. This is a M38 Hungarian helmet. The liner's in really good condition on this one. That's pretty rare to see that. Got a good deal on that.
I also noticed there's a skull ridge on the top of it.
Yep. This has got the ridge on the top. That's one distinction of the Hungarian. It's kind of a mix of a Russian and a German helmet. That's the cool part. Easy way to distinctly tell them. And then picked up another. Yeah, I probably have. I'm in the corner. 1, 2. I got 4 of these already in the corner that I've gotten here in the last month and a half. M1 helmet. This one's in really good shape. The liner is in really good shape as well. This one also is a manufacturer of the liner I didn't have. Plus, it's a front seam, which means it's a earlier World War II dated one. This one, the cork's in good shape. It just needs a slight repaint and then whatever symbols I'm going to put on it. So we got a good deal on that as well. So
Mr. Nelson and I both have worn that goddamn brain bucket.
I love them. I love wearing them. They're so comfortable. They are
heavy.
so comfortable.
So, you're right compared to the Kevlar helmet, but
absolutely, yep.
That brain bucket's still pretty damn heavy.
There are better brain buckets out there that are a whole lot easier to wear.
That's about it for me that I can think of. Yep, that's it. So.
I'm sorry, I got to go off topic for a second. We love what you're thinking, Miss Kitty. Appreciate that. I'll give you a blue star for that.
Nah, she ain't wrong.
Yeah.
That's what we call the downstate, but
it has changed a whole lot. Chicago itself, even downtown.
Oh,
Miss Kitty's right. The brain bucket always fried your brain. Any kind of heat.
Paul, what you been up to?
Finally back where I can work, taking care of the yard and everything else since I've been gone almost a month. Schillen sent me my barrel for my Ruger 1022 build, so got that. Last thing I'm waiting for is a trigger, and we got to take that out and go play with it and see how it works. So, yeah. Go out and spend a whole bunch of money on ammo now.
22 ammo is going on the order of 10 to 15 cents a piece. No, wait a minute. 15 cents a piece, yeah, because these 2 rounds, 2 boxes, cost me $36.
Well, they go more than that. I was looking the other day. I came across Lapua long range match,
Yeah,
and they're selling it for $30 a box.
God,
50. Okay, so
that's 6 cents a round. No, that's 60 cents a round.
60 cents a round. Yes,
God,
and it goes. That's the high point somewhere about there, and then it goes all the way down to match ammo in the $7 to $8 a box for 50. And you got to buy 2 boxes of each to try it all out. So
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the twist rate on your barrel?
This is 1 in 16, so I can't go to the
Cutting edge.
the
You
cutting
could use
edge
the 32
bullets, yeah.
grain.
Yeah, I can use a 32 grain, but I'd like to see if I can get a Luja barrel, because I can order that in a 1 in 8 twist. But it's 12 to 14 weeks out, which isn't too bad. So after the trigger comes, then we'll see what happens. Trigger is back ordered too, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And Jim, what you been up to?
not a whole lot of anything other than, like I said earlier, consider what to put this laser sight in first. Green laser sight. I had just in a quandary. I need to write a review on it. I try to review all the firearm stuff that I buy, except
There
for
you
the CCI ammo. But I can also do a Google review on the Dunhams here in Sanford.
There you go. So, Paul,
Yeah.
neck sizing only for a factory rifle. Is it worth it?
Sometimes it is.
And
As
what
much
is
as
neck
much as we-
sizing?
As much as we sit down and say, push the shoulder back, 2000s or 3000s, sometimes neck sizing really does work for a rifle to, 1, improve its accuracy, and 2, to increase its case life. And that's because a lot of factory rifles have an altogether difference in the length of their chamber versus the length of the brass that you're buying, which means they're generous in their chamber. So what we end up with is trying to maintain headspace without pushing the shoulder back and causing other problems. Now you may have a little difficulty in closing the bolt, but it still should be able to, unless you're way over pressure, you should be able to close the bolt on it without too much of a problem. The one that everybody sits down and looks at. This is the parts to the Lee collet die system. You have a pin here that is, for this one, it's 223, and you have a collet here, and inside of here is a tapered area where the collet and the pin and that will interact when it's in the die. And Mr. Lee came up with a very nice little system here to make this all work. So this part here gets pushed up against the ram and the shell holder, pushes the collet in, neck sizes the case. The case gets neck sized and with enough friction to hold the bullet. Again, because a lot of factory rifles have a very large chamber, and or the brass manufacturing people are being cheap and chambering and drawing the brass out short. Over the weekend, 2 people have bought new brass, high-end brass, and they have found that it's short, and the chambers are bigger than what the brass is, and it can cause some problems. You can work around it by firing loads that fire form the brass, which they're not hot loads. They're a load, a medium load that you're going to fire to get the brass to fit to the chamber better and without stretching the case excessively. So, but then after that, you can neck size to keep that case from overstretching and get some life out of that brass. Especially nowadays, with a lot of people are paying $1 plus for each piece of brass. You may want to neck size to do that. And
you just want to run through your process quick, say on neck sizing versus obviously full length sizing. You don't have to worry about fire forming.
Right.
So you can just take any piece of brass, throw it in the full length sizing die, and away you go. But what's the process if I just want a neck size?
Well, the best is either you get a Lee die like the collet die here, or you can get this is a 22-250 neck sizing die that is it's set up to only size the neck, so you can go through it, and with either of those dies, you can only touch the neck. The shoulder will remain the same, the body will remain the same, and so the only thing you're sizing will be the neck. Some people try to use a full length sizer and try to size the case with that, and they end up partially resizing the case. They'll resize some of the body, but they won't get up to push the necks on it, and that can lead to some issues as far as feeding and jamming in the gun, where you'll have a extremely hard bolt throw because of you haven't pushed the brass around enough to get it, and you've squeezed the brass from the neck and push the shoulder in at the same time, not around the shoulder, and you're pushing all this together, and you're creating a very tight chamber fit, and it may be too tight for you to close the bolt on. So a neck die, or collet die, or a neck sizing die only is your best things to do if you're going to neck size. You should get, with good brass, 8, 10 reloads out of a neck size. You may have to full length size it one time or two times in those 10 rounds that you fire it, but you can get by neck sizing most of the time. And it's I can't say it's the best way to go, but for some guns it is the best way to go. And you can check it out and see if for your gun if that's the best way to work it, if you're finding that your brass life is short. So
Sorry, I was moving a little longer because I had a barking dog.
that's all right.
So, what method do you use for fire forming? I mean, obviously you can just shoot the ammo if you get loaded ammo.
Right. I fire form with a bullet, and I pick a load that's usually 1 or 2 grains over the starting load, and I seat the bullet long, so it's kind of jammed in there, and fire form it that way. That way, there's a resistance at the case mouth to help prevent the brass from expanding up and out, and letting it grab the chamber wall sooner. Excuse me.
Vanessa wants to know, do the dies ever wear out, or are there varieties of dies one should stay away from?
Wearing out. you can wear out dies if you are not, if they're not clean. Okay, you have to clean your dies every so often. Uh, Especially if you don't tumble your brass real well or clean your brass. So dies to stay away from. I don't know. I've got RCBS, Lyman, Lee, Redding, Forrester. I use them all. I mean, they.
I think she's specifically talking about like the neck dies versus full length.
As far as the neck dies, the collet dies will never wear out. Collet dies are adjustable, so a full length die. A regular neck die. I guess you could wear it out. I've never seen it though, but it is, everything is possible. But I've never worn one out, and I've split 308 dies, so I know if something like that can happen. What do I use to clean dies? Real simple. I own a ultrasonic cleaner. I can take and drop the dies in gun cleaning solution and turn it on after it gets hot, and give them 5 minutes in there, and they're clean. That even goes for pistol dies. I mean, full of lube and everything else and junk. Yeah. Ultrasonic cleaner is probably the best way to clean dies, and I don't have to take them all apart.
Yeah, but Paul, that's your solution. My solution for my dies is I just use bore cleaner, whatever it is for bore cleaner.
Yeah.
Poppy's number 9 works real well for that.
Well, aren't you fancy? I just use brake cleaner, so to both of you.
Well, I've just found that I like to just drop them in the basket and don't take them apart. Don't do anything to them. Just drop them in the basket.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about the ultrasonic cleaner. So the drawback to the brake cleaner is you do have to take them apart. You got to pull the center part out because otherwise it just pools in there. So
same thing with Jim's. You got to take his all apart, clean all the gunk off.
Yep,
correct.
Yeah. You don't, Vanessa. You don't even need a big ultrasonic cleaner. They make 1/4s that will work for dies. That's a nice thing about the small ones. They don't take much room, and you can do it. I run a 15 liter because I clean brass in it, but it's a pain in the ass to clean out, dump out the old solution, and back and forth. So, yeah, there are pros and cons to ultrasonic cleaning. Mineral spirits will work, yes. Daniel Anderson. So factory ammunition with their high dollar equipment aren't sending out ammunition with the neck size correctly. Yeah. Okay. They're making sure that it fits in all chambers from SAMI minimum to SAMI maximum. And they ain't worried about how many reloads you get out of it.
Case in point, in fact, they don't want you to reload their brass. They want you to buy their ammo. Our friend from Iceland's got a comment. Not a question, but a comment. He's got a problem with his old 308. The free bore is so long that he cannot fit his hand loads in the magazine if he wanted to have the bullet seat close or even jam. But you can fit it in there if you single load it, Mr. Sigurdsson.
At that point, when his free bore is that long,
shorten the barrel.
Take it off, cut off. You know, if you're able to have them cut off an inch and a half off the barrel and rethread it and rechamber it. If the barrel is still any good somewhere, you know, along the bore. If you just think it's the free bore that's bad, then it's a Remington, and they have extremely long free bores so people don't blow themselves up reloading.
Yeah, and the next comment he confirmed it's an old Rem. So. Looking at ultrasonic cleaners, Harbor Freight's got one for $75. Most of your reloading manufacturer ones are about $1.20 to $1.50.
Right.
Amazon's got a crap ton. Just do some digging there. Some of the nicer ones on Amazon actually have drain valves, so you can drain the fluid off without. And you can use all sorts of stuff in those cleaners. We've got one at work that we use for parts cleaning, and it's really nice. So, I personally have the Hornady, the older model. It's not bad. So,
I've gone through a couple. Most of them are 2 liters or 3 liters, and I find that isn't big enough for what I need to do. If I'm just doing dyes, that's fine. 2 liter is plenty big enough to do dyes. But starting to do brass, it's not worth it. So then you have to get into some bigger ones and more wattage in the ultrasonic transducers too. So. You got to buy a thickness planer first before reloading stuff, Kitty. Oh, come on.
it happens. So,
Yep.
So, what advantages would they really get from neck sizing versus full length sizing?
Longer brass life, probably increased accuracy,
better concentricity because of
better concentricity. Yes.
Okay.
Which goes towards the better accuracy. Negatives are harder bolt handle closure. Slower feeding. In other words, don't take it when you're going whitetail hunting or black bear hunting or anything like that. I mean, you don't want to neck size then. If you're just going to the range and you're shooting for groups and everything else, you can neck size, and you get an idea how it takes to close the bolt on it and everything else. But hunting, don't try it. It's just not worth it. But again, like I say, neck sizing is a viable option. Varmint hunters, if they're looking at taking their quote deer guns out there, they can do some neck sizing with some lighter bullets in there, and they can do a good job on coyotes, prairie dogs, groundhogs, and the like with with a some neck size, just neck size brass. So. Oder, I understand gunsmiths are non-existent over there. Is there a way that you could ship it to a gunsmith in the EU, or I don't know, or Canada? I know there's ITAR regulations and everything else about getting barrels sent over to you and that. So coming from the United States might be hard. But from the EU, you might be able to get a somebody make him a Remage barrel, a barrel nut, and a go no go gauge, and you could take the barrel off yourself and screw on a new barrel.
Explain what you mean by Remage, because some people don't know what that is.
Well, what you do is they take a barrel nut and a barrel. They'll chamber it, get it all set for a Remington 700, but using the Savage type with you screw the barrel on till you get it tight on a go gauge, and then you'll take the nut that you have and it screws down the barrel and sets the barrel to that go gauge. And in other words, the outside of the outside of that barrel is threaded, and it'll just screw right into the Remington action. And then you take that barrel nut and go down, and on the outside of the barrel, get it up and locked into the action itself, and that way the barrel won't move, and you're basically taking a Savage lockup and converting a Remington to a Savage without the floating bolt like Savage has.
Okay.
Okay.
So we were kind of talking about small pistol primer or small rifle primer versus large rifle primer in cases. It came up in the 6.5 Need More chat, but so I know that there is an entire class that shoots. It's called Palma. It's 308. but it's a small rifle primer versus a large rifle primer. Why? What's the advantage? What's the point? Did they just want to be frickin' difficult or what?
No, there's a point to it. The point is that um, there's a more uniform. The small rifle primer gives them a more uniform ignition. Um, the brilliance of the ignition with the small primer to the size of the case. Okay, now it's in a relationship. You have a certain size case, say 34, 35 grains to 40, 45 grains of water that'll hold. And the shape of the case will give the powder its best. It give it its best ignition system. Okay, a large primer a lot of times will start to push the bullet out before the powder has a chance to fully ignite. The case won't grip the case neck. The case neck won't grip the chamber neck area as well. If you've noticed, sometimes with large primer, like 22-250, you get a blackened neck on it, telling you that you've got gas seepage coming in, and before it's actually closed off the neck, that powder is getting pushed rapidly, and with that amount of powder in it, it's blowing by. It's igniting the powder, but it's blowing by, getting that bullet to move and creating soot and carbon that is getting attached to the neck of the brass and your chamber. Small ones just seem to just have a better ignition curve with them, and plus they give me lower ESs and SDs, case by case. Take a 308 case with a large primer and go back and get one of the ones with the small ones, and I can tell you that the small primers will give me better SDs and ESs than the large ones. Same exact charge weight, same everything. And we're taking it down to 2/100ths of a grain, okay? So, in loading the powder. That's what I've seen with small primers. They just are a better option for some shooters who are wanting the best accuracy in that size case. And again, 34 or so grains to 40, 42 grains. You get more than that, and you got to go to a large rifle primer. I'm sorry. Especially you start getting in the magnums, you have to stay in that large rifle primer.
So it's more just that 308, 65 Creedmoor.
And the smaller sixes, the 6XC,
6BR.
BR, and that, they all came with a large rifle primer, okay? They all did. But the manufacturers are now turning it out. The other thing is, and I'm going to tell people to be wary of this, but you got more head up there. Okay. In other words, there's more meat around that primer. So you can run a little bit hotter pressures. The web is going to be a little thicker. The head's got a lot more around that primer, and you find out that you can run your loads a little hotter. So, not saying it's recommended, guys. Just saying
Right.
that.
And you're not saying, we're not saying necessarily loading them well above, above
Right.
hook loads and stuff. You're just saying that if you're on the max end of the range, the cases are going to hold up better with a small rifle primer versus a large rifle primer.
Right. And the other thing is, if you're running a ball powder in those cases, I don't see why, but you're running a ball powder in those cases because it's easier to load, and I understand that. You can switch to a small rifle Magnum primer, and your ball powders should ignite better.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of them are difficult to ignite. 760,
748,
748, 414, H380. Some of those can be a little difficult to ignite. Now, they keep telling me, and I haven't been able to prove it yet, but the new ball powders that they have, the match, the 6.5 stable, and the long range, they're supposed to be easier to ignite. But I wonder. I mean, I have my doubts, but I haven't proved anything one way or the other yet.
Nick, David Lukey wants to know, in past podcasts, you mentioned winning an auction for loading equipment. Where can I find one of those auctions?
You just have to keep your eye out, type thing. I know Mike will agree on that one. You just have to kind of do your research and see what's out there. There's a couple different websites you can go to. Proxy Bid, High Bid. Another thing, if you have Facebook, check your local Facebook marketplace. You can find some good stuff on there from time to time. But yeah, basically, High Bid, Proxy Bid, those are the best two that I work with. Plus, you can also look if you have local auction houses around you. There was one nearby back home that used to do a lot of reloading components and stuff, and I picked up quite a bit when I was there, and so there's just, you got to kind of do your research. I'm on Proxy Bid and High Bid daily, searching things, checking on stuff I have on my watch list, and let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs between High Bid and Proxy Bid opened right now. So yeah. But like, I can go right now to High Bid and search just reloading. And let's see. And of course, it does it by time. It's like right now, the first thing up ends in 1 hour and 10 minutes is a shot shell reloader. You can just keep on going down. They have all sorts of reloaded ammos, common, but like dies. That's where I get a lot of my good deal on my dies. Like right now, there's a set of 6mm. What do they say? They don't say exactly, just 6mm dies, RCBS. Currently at $15. 25-06, 17 Remington. There's some, and they're all under $20.
Nick got the steal just for dies alone.
Exactly, and that's why I've picked up some of my good deals on my dies. I've gotten dies, full die sets as cheap as $5 before. So I have it for some cartridges I don't even have yet. It just when they're $5, you're gonna pay a couple more dollars in shipping. So you're looking around $15-20 ship, but especially RCBS, what's RCBS dies go for about 40, 50, $60 easy retail. So you're in half at least. So, but
Also, the other thing is too, unless somebody gets stupid, dies don't go bad.
no, absolutely not. Like Paul said, I've never worn out a set of dies. I don't know if any of us have truly worn out a full set of dies.
If you did, RCBS would make it right.
Exactly.
Or Lyman.
Or
Any of them will fix it.
Absolutely.
You know. So,
yeah, that's the great thing about auction houses. You kind of got to do your research, make sure they're reputable auction houses. Like I have a list of stuff, companies I've worked with or auction houses I've bought stuff from, and I try to buy them from them more than I do other ones because I've always had good experiences with them. And so, and I bought stuff from Oregon, Arizona, New York State, Florida, Texas. They're from all over the place. I bought stuff from. So, but it's nice if you can find good deals. I know Mike's probably done the same because I know there's one up by you, Mike, that you were telling me about a while back. There were some good deals on that, and so, but you just got to keep your eye out. So, especially if you can find one that's local. That's the nice thing about HiBid. You can do search and then search near your zip code within a distance. Like for instance, right now, I can do 50 miles currently from my location. And if there's stuff within 50 miles, it's going to pop up by your zip code. So, but
Well, I think that about covers it. So, I want to take time to thank Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company. We already showed it once, but we'll show her off again. Patch of the month. Jim, what's it say?
I'm coming. It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God such men lived, says General George S. Patton.
and he actually says that in the movie Patton. So I just watched that this last weekend. So,
Yeah, they actually did a pretty good job on that. So, I mean, they still took liberties, but so. Anybody got a shout out?
No.
Okay. On that note, keep your brass shiny.
jump on the Millsap short bus.
Grandpa said, "Don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems."
Do what it takes to support the Second Amendment. It's our right. It's your right. It's your children's right. It's your grandchildren's right.
Don't sell it down.
Take somebody to the range.
And a right delayed is a right denied. So, Oder said, my radius is more like 5,000 miles for the search. LOL, you guys have no idea how fortunate you are in all respects. Yes, we are very grateful. And most of us realize how important the Second Amendment is and how important it is to more of those things, like the reloading end of it. It's a lot tougher in a lot of countries. So,
most countries it's illegal.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries it is, or it's very hard to get stuff. So, I'm grateful for the Second Amendment because the guns that I went and shot on Thursday, I couldn't have in Australia. Lever guns. Even lever guns are illegal in Australia. So, and other countries. Anyway, if you're struggling, 988-1-800-273-8255. Hang in there, get some help. It's a sign of strength to reach out and get some help. We want you here. We need you here. So dial those digits. Thanks and good night.
Good night, guys.
Retro.